Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Thanks to everybody for tuning in today as we are 3 days away from Week 2 Bears-Lions at Ford Field. Ben Johnson's return to Ford Field in Detroit. Can't wait for that. Pair of 0-1 teams. Big game. If you fall to 0-2, I think your playoff chances drop to like 12%. So big game for the Bears to try and get this thing on track. Shout out your city. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We got producer Jack Ray on the ones and twos today. OG producer Jack filling in for Cullen Brown as he'll hop on in a minute. Cullen usually just uses that small one. That's probably why it's not up. Got Dan in Fort Wayne, Oz in Northbrook, Jim in Tempe, Arizona. Producer Jack from Tucson, Arizona. What's going on there? Oh, there's, sports gambling stuff. Good times. Good times. Rough go for Arizona sports. ASU losing last week. Tyler in Arlington, Virginia. We got Denny in Grand Rapids. Come on, Bulls guy. Come on. OG producer Jack. Come on. Cullen's at he's got a rehearsal dinner tonight, so he's got shit going on. We got Ben Johnson's backyard from Tyler. Quite the location there. Matt Nagy with 2 G's. Nice. All right, Jack, welcome back to the program. It's been a while.
It's been quite a while.
Yeah,
and
it's probably been, maybe in the summertime you filled in or something like that?
I might have done one in the summer. The days meld together, don't they? I don't know.
Yeah, especially once like training camp and the preseason starts, it's all just, it's all a blur. So glad to have you back.
I'm happy to be back.
We got plenty of content to get into. ATG says, OMG, Harrison, I missed you. Well, I missed you too. I miss all you guys. Every day I'm not live.
Apparently,
just think about the chat.
Apparently, Bulls guy is not an OG. That's all I'm
Bulls
saying.
guy says, should we boycott because Cullen's not here?
That's crazy.
No!
That's crazy talk.
Cullen wouldn't want that.
If you remember the thanks Nagy days, type me.
Yeah, thanks Nagy days.
If you remember those days, type me.
That was
because
a Jack
those were the days.
That was a Jack staple. Thanks Nagy. Maybe we should have thanked him more after what we endured in the Eberflus era, but that was then. This is now. Jason says, "How do you?" Oh, it's all we think about. It's all we think about. All right, what else we got here? Big game coming up. In fact, I'm gonna make that the poll. Be honest, who wins Sunday? Bears, Lions. I got my preview already filmed. It's going to go out probably tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Rolly. Listen, rough go as a Bears fan, but the Dolphins could be really bad. So you've got that going. Still got believers in the live poll, 77% Bears. All right. It'd be a big bounce back if they could get it. Hopefully it happens. Professor Jibe's he's not jibing it. He says Detroit. Z Ganji says Bears, so does ATG. Diane says Chicago. We got, let's see. Tom says Detroit. Non-biased from Lacora. I've got my pick coming out tomorrow, so be on the lookout. Karen says Bears. Angler says Chicago. We'll see. We shall see. Let's go to K Cobra, first super chat of the day. Not overreacting to the first game of the year on a new coach system, but for the team. For the helm, I'll say F for the hell of it. For the hell of it, I'll say FGB. Well, it's never a bad time to say FGB. So get the FGBs in the count, in the chat, I should say. And F Detroit's as well. Got to beat Detroit. Listen, beat Detroit this week. We're back. We said it all along. You split these NFC North games to start the season. Doesn't matter how you get it. You just made it harder on yourself because you should have won that game on Monday. But, what are you going to do?
I do want to say there's some very weird behavior in the chat about Caleb Williams. You guys realize Caleb Williams is actually pretty good.
It's one game.
And while he hasn't showed it yet, and he still has some development,
Got
and
a
again,
lot of
this
talent.
is
He's got to be better. But
I got no skin in the game here. So, like, this is coming from a legit, unbiased source. Like, I think Caleb is going to be pretty good. And, like, I saw a comment a little further up that I was not a fan of. Guys, we're overreacting over one game.
One game. Let's and he wasn't even like terrible in the game. I didn't think he was very good, especially in the second half, but it wasn't a complete disaster. I mean, honestly, compared to last year in his opener, I think he went 14 of 29 against the Titans or something. So let's see what he does this week. Let's see how he bounces back. You're only as good as your next game. So let's see how it goes. Wasim Khan, shout out to you. He says, still haven't recovered from last week. So listen, it's tough when you got a lot of hype, right? Ben Johnson coming in here. You get a lead early. You're feeling good, and then it just kind of unravels. So, yeah, I feel you. It's tough. I think if they beat Detroit this week, we're going to feel a lot better because, listen, I think most of us probably predict beat Minnesota week 1, lose to Detroit week 2. So if the opposite happens, it's like, it's kind of the same thing. So, listen, you go lose Sunday, it becomes a lot harder. Because you got Dallas in week 3. They look at least formidable. The Raiders in week 4 on the road. That's not going to be a layup. So it's a big game Sunday. We'll see what happens. It's going to be tough. I think Detroit's going to play a lot better than they did against Green Bay. But if you want the Bears to bounce back against the Lions, hit the like button. Let's bounce back. It's a new week. It's week 2. It's not week 12, and we've lost 8 in a row or whatever like last year. Come on. Hit that like button.
I will also say, and I'm airing out all my grievances now because this is my first time here, probably in the Caleb era. Everyone's overreacting about Caleb. His head coach last year was Matt Eberflus, who I think we can all agree was horrible.
One of the worst coaches we've ever seen.
And
as a head coach.
And now Caleb has to learn an entire new system with an entire new coaching staff. And it was week 1. Like, guys, let's use our brains here for a second instead of overreacting. Horrible coach last year. First game with a new head coach. He was a rookie last year, by the way, as well, learning how to be an NFL player. Like, can we be real for 2 seconds, please?
Give it some
That's
time.
all I'm asking.
Colin's off today. We got Jack filling in, Alex. Colin is at a wedding rehearsal dinner, so that is where he is. All right, we'll go to one more super chat, and then we'll hop into the content. Keep firing them in, though, because we will let me see. Yeah, we can flash it. It's fine. Tyler, yeah, we'll hit the next couple, and then we're gonna. Jason, what a crazy week of the world. Lot going on, Jason. Tyler, thoughts on JJ Player of the Week, pick 6 on 143 yards. Kind of feels like an overreaction media narrative. Listen, the fourth quarter, he was great. I think there were better options, but at the end of the day, it's a weekly award. Who really cares? Posey, I don't think we are winning in Ford Field. It's going to be hard. We needed to win week 1. That would have made it easier. I just want Caleb in the offense to look good. So do I. That's a tough place to win, no doubt. It's all true. It's all true. All right, here's what we got coming up, and we will continue to answer your questions. So fire them in, #Bears or Super Chat. We do have the latest news and injury updates for both the Bears and the Lions as we get closer to game day. And maybe Caleb wasn't as bad as people thought. A lot of people on the outside, analysts, ex-quarterbacks, they certainly felt like he played better than kind of the general consensus would say. So we'll talk about all that coming up here on Chicago Bears Now. Hit that like button, and let's roll. I'm Harrison Graham, and Jaylon Johnson is back. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Jaylon Johnson told the media earlier today that he expects to play this Sunday against the Detroit Lions after missing the Bears season opener against the Minnesota Vikings. Assuming this is the case, this obviously is big. Jaylon provides a huge lift. He is, I would say, almost certainly, when fully healthy, your best player on defense. As he has played at a very, very high level the last couple of years. 2023, he was an All-Pro. Last year, he was still very good as well, even though his overall, PFF grades, the coverage numbers dipped a little bit. He was still excellent. And, is he the difference in that Week 1 game? It's hard to say. Nahshon Wright obviously played well, but then when he got banged up, you were pretty thin at corner by the end of that game. So definitely nice to get him back into the fold. We'll take a look at the injury report in a minute, but he was a full participant again today. I think he was pretty close to playing on Monday, but they went the cautious route. The question I'm really wondering is, who is your CB2 this week? Do you go with Nahshon Wright, who got that pick 6 in Week 1 and helped make a game-changing play for you? Or do you go with Tyrique Stevenson, who seemingly won the job coming out of training camp? Is it kind of a split reps type of deal, kind of what they would do with Tyrique and Terrell Smith at times the last couple of years? So that'll be interesting. I mean, I would guess Tyrique's going to start because he did win the job, and he didn't have a pick 6 in Week 1, but I thought he had a pretty good game overall in coverage against Minnesota. So it'll be interesting to see what Dennis Allen chooses there, because you really could make arguments for both based on how Wright changed that game with that interception, which unfortunately ended up being a waste because the Bears couldn't seal the deal. Who should be CB2 this Sunday? Type TS for Tyrique Stevenson or NW for Nahshon Wright. Who knows? They might even take Jaylon off a series here or there because it is his first game back, depending on the conditioning. But if he's full go, he needs to be on the field. So who should be CB2, that other outside corner? TS for Stevenson or NW for Wright? All right, the Bears injury report for Thursday has dropped, and it's the same as yesterday's. Yesterday's were estimates as they went through a walkthrough, but Kyler Gordon and Grady Jarrett did not practice. Gordon dealing with that hamstring that tightened up last Sunday. Grady Jarrett did not practice. He's dealing with some kind of knee issue. He kind of wondered, well, maybe it was just yesterday was kind of a rest day deal, but certainly seems like something's going on there. Roschon Johnson was limited with a foot. Jahdae Walker limited with an ankle. TJ Edwards limited with a hamstring. Josh Blackwell limited with a groin. DJ Moore also dealing with the groin, but he was a full participant. And, of course, Jaylon Johnson, who we just talked about as well. Doesn't look good for Kyler Gordon and Grady Jarrett. Now, Jarrett's a vet. Maybe it's one of those where he doesn't need to practice much this week, but if he's ready for game day, he'll go. But you hear hamstring for a corner like Kyler Gordon, I'm not that optimistic. I'd be surprised if it got turned around in time for him to play this Sunday. So you wonder, okay, who fills in at nickel? Probably Nick McLeod again. Blackwell's been limited. He played last week. You would think he'd be available, but they might just keep him solely on special teams. And it's kind of what we saw last week. Nick McLeod played a lot. He played 46 snaps, 82% of the Bears' defensive snaps in that season opener against the Minnesota Vikings. So I would expect more of the same. Now, again, it sounds like you're getting Jaylon back, so that's a win. But it sounds like Kyler Gordon a bit more of an uphill battle. As far as Grady Jarrett goes, Gervon Dexter, I thought, played really well last week. I thought he was your best DT. Andrew Billings, Chris Williams, neither played that well. Grady Jarrett, I thought, was solid. If Jarrett's out, that would lead one to believe that Shamar Turner will be active. He was a healthy scratch last week in the season opener. You'll need a fourth defensive tackle. So you would think Turner would be active and might get a few snaps, get some opportunities to rotate in and see what he could show. Obviously, they drafted him in the second round. He missed most of camp with an injury, but if he's healthy and ready to go, good opportunity to get him some reps in there and see what the kid can do. You did draft this guy in the first 2 rounds, so ideally he, is a piece moving forward. All right, we'll talk about the Lions injury side of things coming up after this break. We got to tell you guys about today's show being sponsored by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football is back and better than ever. I'm firing off Prize Picks lineups every single week, including tonight. It's very easy to play Prize Picks as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Travis Kelce, a little max discount offer of the week, more than half a receiving yard. I've paired that with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt for tonight's game, by the way. So if you want to use him, better get going quickly here. $20 entry to win $60. Of note, max discount plays can only be used once per user, so take note of that. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, Taylor Decker, according to John Morton, is set to play. Their new offensive coordinator say, quote, "We fully expect," close quote, Taylor Decker to play against the Bears in this game on Sunday. Now, he said this, and then a couple of hours later, the Lions injury report came out, and for a second straight day, Taylor Decker was a DNP, did not practice. Now, Taylor Decker's a vet. If they're just managing his body and his physicality during the week, that is certainly not abnormal for an older player to kind of just do the rehab stuff during the week. He'll probably do some stuff on the practice field tomorrow and then play Sunday. That's probably their game plan for him. So we'll see if he ends up playing or not. If he doesn't for some reason, the only offensive lineman for Detroit that really puts fear into you is Penei Sewell, because their interior three did not play that well whatsoever against the Packers in Week 1. They really struggled in pass protection by giving up 9 pressures and against the run. That, of course, being Christian Mahogany, Graham Glasgow, and Tate Ratledge. Ratledge being a rookie, Mahogany a second-year player. Glasgow really struggled at center. That Frank Ragnow retirement, that's a big deal. So we'll see on Decker. They're saying he's playing. He didn't practice the last 2 days, but he is a vet, so I would expect him to play. Jack, can we actually look at the rest of the injury report? Because one other notable change from yesterday to today, because remember, Jack Campbell popped up on the injury report yesterday for the first time ever, apparently, according to one of their beat writers in Detroit, with an ankle injury, did not practice. But today, he was a full participant. So sounds like they just kind of took it cautiously yesterday. Terrion Arnold, also a full participant. So Taylor Decker is the one to watch for Detroit if he plays. It sounds like most of their key guys are ready to go. And then obviously for the Bears, keep an eye on those limited guys, TJ Edwards, Roschon Johnson. We'll see if either Grady, Jarrett, or Kyler Gordon can push the play. But as of now, I would say they are long shots. All right, Week 2 is upon us as the Lions are a healthy 5.5-point favorite. Over-under set at 47.5 points. So basically they're saying, 26-22, 27-21, something like that in favor of Detroit as Ben Johnson makes his return to Ford Field. But who cares what the bookies say? What do you say? Who do you got on Sunday afternoon? If you think the Bears are going to go in there and pull off the upset, type CHI. If you're rolling with the home team Lions, type DET. Let us know what you guys are thinking. My name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We, of course, will be live on Sunday, probably 10:30, 10:45 for a little pregame show. And, of course, we will be here throughout the game as well with our live coverage. So subscribe and join us then. All right, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Get your questions answered on the show. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Got questions about this game? Roster questions? Anything else? Whew. Meant to make Celsius before this show. In fact, you want to hold it down for like 2 minutes and I can make myself a Celsius packet? All right. If you're good to do that, I will be right back.
What is up, Bears fans? Bear down, baby. How we feeling? Not great is what I'm seeing in the chat. We're not feeling great. What's up, Soldier Bear? It's good to be back. If you guys are not aware, I was the original Bears Now producer circa 2021, 2022, when we were still really growing this channel. It was Harrison and I. We were the duo. It was a lot of fun. So if you guys were here for that, you guys remember those days. Those days were awesome. What's good? What's good? I'm feeling good. Who's your favorite Bears player ever? And producer Jack. What's up, Jack? The original Jack says RJ's Kitchen. Let's go, DJ. Bear down. Bear down. Yeah, David, I get it. But, like, from my point of view, you guys were leading for basically the entire game. You played well up until, like, the fourth quarter. And again, it's game one under a new regime. Like, come on. You know? Come on. I'm not overreacting over one game. That's what I would say. You know? Like, I'm not going to overreact under one game. It's one game. Played better than the Lions. Bear down. At best, you're looking at 7 wins with this pace. I mean, Saquads, yeah, Anthony Rizzo retired. If there are Cubs fans in here, be honest. Do you actually think he's a Hall of Famer? I would probably say no. He's probably just on the cusp, but probably won't make it. Lamar and Josh took multiple years to get to this point. Can't rush greatness. I agree with that. Like, I think that's the problem is we are too quick to jump ship. Like, it took years for Lamar. It took years for Josh Allen. And again, you had the turmoil last year with Matt Eberflus. So, like, I'm not gonna be highly reactive to one game under a new regime when the year before you were with like a terrible head coach and terrible offensive coordinator. Like, I just feel like it's way too premature to be jumping ship like that.
Too, because I've seen a few comments about Rizzo.
We just asked him. I just asked them.
Do you have a thought on Rizzo?
I said he would probably be on the cusp of the Hall of Fame, but would not get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not first ballot.
No, he's definitely not.
He'll be on the ballot.
He'll be on the ballot. He'll get a few votes, but I don't think it's very hard to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like, you have to be.
This isn't the Basketball Hall of Fame.
You have to be, like, truly special.
It's a lot harder for baseball.
A lot harder for baseball.
Yeah.
Like, I want Dustin Pedroia to make the Hall of Fame. I think he deserves it, and that's, coming from a Red Sox fan. I legitimately think he has the resume to do it, but I honestly don't know if he will.
Yeah.
Because it's that hard.
That's a good point. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. Seeing a few questions roll in. If you Super Chat's a guarantee to get on the show, but we will also get to as many of your hashtag Bears questions as well. We will get you guys on the show.
Walker Buehler making his Phillies debut on Friday. Second. LOL.
So appreciate all of your
patience.
Have some hope.
Have some hope. That's what I keep telling you guys in the chat.
It's one game. They lost by 3 to a good team. Did they kind of blow it? No question.
Well, I made the argument while you were gone, Harrison. I said, because I watched that game, I said, you were good for the first 3 quarters. You were leading the way. You were looking good.
Yeah,
Had opportunities to close it out, and you didn't.
It wasn't perfect, but you were up 11 points through 3 quarters. You would have taken that regardless of how it looked all day.
And again, like, I said it in the build-up of the show, like, you had Matt Eberflus as your head coach last year. Who was their OC again?
Shane
Waldron. You had Shane freaking Waldron as your OC. And he was a rookie with all of these expectations and people trying to beat him down with controversy and painting his nails and all this BS. Like, he had to deal with that last year while having a horrible head coach and a horrible OC. Now he's got an entirely new regime. People are still criticizing him, and he's only played one game. He started the game 10-10. Like, come on, guys. We can't be that overreactionary after one game.
Shame Waldron. I actually haven't seen that one before.
Shame Waldron.
Good
That's
stuff,
funny.
Lacora.
Manning threw 28 INTs his first year. Yeah,
Good
look,
point.
like legends.
That's a good point.
Legends.
Hey, reminder for the other prize fix reads to use that other one.
Well, I was going to use the other one in the first one, and I was like, you said, oh, well, tonight. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to go tonight.
Yeah, that's fine.
But his accuracy is horrible. He went 10 for 10 to start the game.
Listen, his accuracy does have to improve.
For sure.
There are throws he just has to hit.
I'm not defending, like,
I know
his downfalls. But, like, guys.
You're just saying give it time.
Let's be real here. Please.
Give it some time.
I ask you. I'm seeing people say put in Tyson Bagent. Like, guys, it's week 1. It's week 1. Well, it's technically week 2, but it's week 2.
Calls are a little early.
Everyone jumped off.
Let's see where things look at the bye week. That's week 5. That's early. Let's see where it looks at the bye week. All right, let's get to a mailbag. # Bears or Super Chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. And let's get your questions going, man. Yeah, we'll hit your Super Chats, and then we will take other questions as well. So, # Bears, Super Chat. We will launch them away. All right, mailbag time coming up next. I'm Harrison Graham. It is time for our patented mailbags here on Chicago Bears Now. # Bears, Super Chat. We'll answer your questions for 10 or 15 minutes or so. Coming up right now. All right, same old Bears. If DeAndre Swift continues to struggle, who are some running backs out there that we could trade for? I saw this question that I wanted to include. This was out of the live show. I wanted to throw it in here. These are a few names that come to mind. I mean, Kenneth Walker, week 1. It seemed like Zach Charbonnet looked better. Could he be a guy they just dump like near the deadline maybe? I don't think the Dolphins are looking to trade Devon Achane, but if they just have this disastrous season, will they just go on a fire sale? He'd be pretty interesting. Breece Hall looked great for the Jets. I thought that's one of the best games he's had in a while. His juice looked back. His legs were moving. Tyler Algier, he's the backup to Bijan Robinson. Devin Singletary might end up being the odd man out in New York behind Tyrone Tracy and Camp Scatterby. That's obviously a lesser option. The guys like Achane, Hall, a Jonathan Taylor, if the Colts fall off, could you see some big names become available closer to the deadline? It's certainly possible. If you're trying to add a notable player right now, it's probably not realistic this early in the season. So you got to hope you get more out of DeAndre Swift. You certainly should give Kyle Monangai more touches, which Ben Johnson said he would do this week. We'll see if and when Roschon gets into the mix. He's been limited in practice this week. As we're filming this on Thursday, we'll see if he goes on Sunday. But, yeah, I think you just got to look within right now. I mean, this is why we pounded the table for running backs most of the offseason, but here we are with the current situation. So, tough matchup week 1 with their Vikings defense. I think there should be better opportunities this week to create some explosives in the run game. Let's see if the Bears can accomplish just that. All right, name a running back that you would like the Bears to trade for, whether it's someone I mentioned or someone else. Drop his name in the comment section of this video. Who would you like to see the Bears trade for at the running back position if they could? All right, to Marcus Escobedo, do you think Detroit is lost without their old coordinators, or is Green Bay's defense just that good? I think it's 1 week. I do think that it's going to be tough for Detroit to replicate what they had with Ben Johnson, especially when they hired John Morton from outside the building. That was the big question with the Lions. How long would it take with their 2 new coordinators to kind of, gel? And week 1 didn't look great. Now, that's still a loaded roster. I expect Detroit to play a lot better this week. They're at home. They want to beat Ben Johnson. Like that, there's going to be a lot of motivation there. I also think Green Bay's defense is good. I mean, the Micah Parsons edition is huge. They have good linebackers. I don't love their corners, but their front seven's good. So, Yeah, I think it was kind of just the perfect storm. You're at Lambeau, a lot of hype coming off the Micah trade. First game with the new coordinators for Detroit. Kind of a tough spot for the Lions, and now they come home against the Bears where both teams really need to win this game. So it's going to be a big-time environment. Ricky Ricardo, how confident are you on the Bears special teams? They certainly need to be better. I mean, week one was not good. I thought the coverage units, especially in punt, were bad. I didn't think Torrey Taylor punted the ball particularly well. Cairo was not kicking the ball well, at least on the 2 field goal attempts. One snuck inside the right upright. It was starting to fade. The second one, he hit another fade, and with it being longer, he just pushed it to the right. He's got to kick the ball better. Luther Burden had the one explosive return, but it was at the end of the first half, and the clock ran out, so you didn't even get to take advantage of that one. So, yeah, I thought they made 0 splash plays on special teams that mattered and had a few negative ones. That's got to get cleaned up. Cheeks, my boy, unreal. As Bears fans, we tend to overreact. By what week should we be really concerned about Caleb in this regime? I mean, the regime, like – I like this coaching staff and how it's put together. Obviously, Ben as a head coach is still an unknown. He's coached 1 game, but I'm not. I mean, if they go like 2-15, sure, we can question the regime. But now, if we want to have a Ryan Poles conversation, that's a different conversation. But let's give Caleb some more time. At minimum, we got to get to the bye week, which is week 5. So that's 3 more games before the bye week. Let's see how it's looking. Realistically, it'll probably be longer than that before we're like, okay, is this an issue? So it's been 1 game with this new coach, a lot going on. Let's see how Sunday goes. John Orticelli, in your opinion, who has a better year, Golden or Burden? Probably Golden. He's going to get more opportunities. He might end up being their number 1 receiver in Green Bay. So I would say Matthew Golden. I'm hoping Luther Burden plays some more as the year goes on. And, hell, make him your primary returner. If you're not going to play him full-time on offense, let's give him some opportunities on kick and punt return. I got nothing against Devin Duvernay, but he was kind of bobbling the ball on a couple of those punt returns. Burden had easily your best kickoff return, so I would like to put the ball in his hands more and as often as possible. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football is back and better than ever, and I'm firing off Prize Picks lineups every single week. It's very easy to play Prize Picks. Just pick more or less on stat projections for 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. Here's an example of a 2-player lineup. Travis Kelce, a max discount play of more than half a receiving yard. Take advantage before the clock runs out on that opportunity. I've paired that with Caleb Williams, a goblin play, more than half a passing touchdown. 2 for 1 last week. I'm running that one back here. $20 to win 40 with it being a goblin play. It's a little bit less of a payout since it is easier to pick, but you already got Travis Kelce on a max discount, so a really good opportunity there. $20 to win 40. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Tedros, appreciate the $5 super chat. Caleb had to have done something personal to Cowherd. This guy's been all over Caleb this year and is now praising McCarthy. Yeah, after Monday night, I was like, there's no chance I'm listening to Cowherd this week. It's going to be a bloodbath. So, something changed with Cowherd when it comes to Caleb. I don't know if he's just fully buying into some of the reports that have happened, if he's just taking the anti-Caleb side. Look, Caleb's got to play better. It's up to him to prove to be the guy. Whatever Cowherd says isn't going to be the difference. But, even before the season started, something changed with Colin on his opinion on Caleb. I don't know if he heard something behind the scenes or what, but it was kind of a 180 overnight. All right, Will Whitaker. Who would be on the short list for a midseason contract extension? Oof. I think both safeties, depending on how they're playing, Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard. Brisker, obviously, you couldn't extend him before the year because he's coming off missing the last 12 games of the concussion last year. He has to prove he stays healthy, but if he's healthy for the first 8-10 games and having a good year and you want to get him on kind of a team-friendly 1 or 2 year extension, he could be an option. Kevin Byard, he's year to year at this point, which he acknowledged, but if he's having a good year and wants to stick around and you want to give him a 1-year extension, $6-7 million for next year, that could be an option as well. Trying to think who else would fit that mold. I mean, like Darnell Wright, I think is going to be an extension candidate for this offseason, but he's not eligible until the end of the year. So I think those are really the two guys that you would keep an eye on there. B. Shep 23, I vote to give Caleb the entire season. Go Bears. I would probably still be in that camp as well. Now, if it's really ugly, I'd be open to changing that opinion, but I do think there's got to be a level of, okay, you brought Ben Johnson in here to unlock Caleb, right? You're not even going to give it a season? Like, clearly there's some admiration for Tyson Bagent from the Bears. I mean, they extended him. I like Bagent as well. I think he could do well in this offense, but the higher ceiling clearly is with Caleb. So I think it would have to go really poorly for them to pivot midseason, but we'll see what happens. I mean, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors, so. Steven Smith, appreciate the follow. Yo, what's up, Harrison and Jack? LFG, Jaylon Johnson is back. Do you guys think Tyreek can do anything to solidify CB2? Love the show. Well, he won the job, it seemed like, out of camp. Now, with Jaylon not playing week 1, technically they didn't have to address that because Nahshon Wright was going to have to play regardless. But then Wright had a pick 6, right? So I thought they both played well in the opener, him and Tyreek. So my gut tells me Tyreek will start, but we'll probably see Nahshon Wright some as well. I think there could be a bit of a rotation there at that other outside corner spot. Subscribe to the channel if you never want to miss a video here on the show. You got to do 2 things. 1, you got to hit the subscribe button. It is free. You know what's also free? Turning on the notification bell and selecting all. It defaults to what's called personalized. If you select all, that means every time we publish a video on your phone, you are going to get a notification. So go ahead and make that happen. Say quads, Barkley. Who do you think gets traded this year, Komet or DJ? Well, that was one of my bold predictions, that one of those two after the season would get traded. So a long way to go for that to be the case. For one to get traded midseason, that means the Bears are really bad, and they're just shedding money and trying to add draft capital. Could a guy like Komet get traded if Loveland is really emerging and they just want to get something for Komet? Could they move out DJ if they want to get Luther Burden some more playing time? I mean, you'd have to get good offers. Like, I don't think you would just trade DJ midseason just for the sake of it. Like, if some team's offering you a 4th-round pick, just because you're having a down year, that would not be enough for me. So I don't think either would get traded mid-year. I think something drastically wrong would have to happen, but this is the NFL and this is the Bears. Drastically wrong seems to find us, so you never know. DC Viper, how concerned are you at all about the O-line performance last week, and could that still carry against the Lions? Feels like the same old, same old. Well, look, was it great? Certainly not. Were there issues, especially with Jonah Jackson and a little bit of Drew Dahlman? Yes. Look, Drew Dahlman is not perfect in pass pro. He's a really good run blocker. He's not great in pass pro, so that's number one. Jonah Jackson is coming off a funky injury-plagued year. Did not play well week 1. So we're hoping he gets back to that level he was with Ben Johnson a few years ago. But what if he doesn't? Hopefully he does. That would suck if he didn't. I thought Darnell Wright played well. So did Joe Thuney. Braxton Jones was fine. So I don't think it was all bad. I still think it was better than what we've had. And I don't view Detroit as dangerous as Minnesota on that defensive front. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson is a challenge, but I think Darnell can hold his own there. And then, we'll see what happens on the interior. But, I think Minnesota had more different looks and different bodies to throw at the Bears. Christian, how much blame should Declan take for the offensive struggles Monday? That's kind of tough, right? I mean, how much weight does the non-play calling OC carry? I mean, he's involved in the game planning, and I'm sure he has inputs on some of the calls during the game. But listen, he is the offensive coordinator, so he's on the pie chart of blame. I think this regime, at least what they're communicating publicly, they're doing a really good job of, taking ownership across the board. Like, hey, it's a collective effort. It's on us. I think the coaches are going to wear most of the blame initially. Then obviously in the meeting rooms and in the film stuff, they got to point out stuff that needs to be pointed out. So He's on the pie chart somewhere, but Ben's the play designer and play caller. Caleb's got to execute the plays, as do the other 10 players. So, I think those two parties are the ones that carry the most weight there. Predict the score of Bears Lions. Who you got winning, and what do you have the final score as? What say you? Curious to see what the chat is thinking after losing in Week 1. Bears Lions score predictions right now. All right, Pete. How do you guys feel about Week 1 being very similar to Mitchell Trubisky and Matt Nagy's first game? We all know what happened that year. Do you think that will happen this year? It's a good question. First of all, and I've seen this comp a couple times. First of all, I think that 2018 defense is better than this one, although I think this defense could be good. I also think Caleb's better than Mitch. So you've got that as well. And I also think Ben, his potential as a head coach is higher than Matt's. We know he's a more proven kind of experienced play caller than Nagy. That was Andy Reid's offense. This is Ben Johnson's offense. So, we'll see. Obviously, that team lost Week 1 in kind of a similar fashion, but that was also to an Aaron Rodgers quarterback team. And then they rallied to go 12-4 and win the division. So it'd be nice if that happened again. Certainly wouldn't complain about that. ATG Bears breakdown. What do you want to see from Caleb this weekend? I think just settle down a little more. He felt amped up to me on some of those throws where, we know he's got the fastball. And it's great to be able to go to the fastball. Sometimes you don't even need to go to a touch pass, but just instead of throwing 98, just throw 90, right? To make a baseball reference, just hit your spot. Sometimes if you're throwing 102 but you don't know where the hell it's going, what good is that? But if you can hit the spot, if you can hit the front shoulder and get some yak after the catch at 91, that's more than good enough. So I just be a little bit more accurate on throws he can and we know he should make because he's doing the hard stuff. His sack avoidance in that opener was fantastic and making some throws on the run and some tough scrambles and he made a couple of nice play action throws where he hit DJ on the far hash and strike. He made some good plays. People act like he laid an egg. The problem is some of the misses he did have, you're just like, how is he missing that by that much? That is the type of stuff that needs to be tightened up. And if he can do that, it's going to be a much more complete performance and will lead to better results. All right, appreciate all the questions here on today's mailbag. You know where to find me otherwise, at HGrabNFL, both on Twitter and Instagram. DMs are open if you want to talk more Bears football. So hit me up over there, at HGrabNFL. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down. All right. Super chat from Stitch Lover. It's going to take about 10 games. He still gets happy feet. Caleb needs a running game desperately to calm things down. Ben said we'll know by week 4. He said more so of just we should have a better idea of how things are by the bye week, which is after week 4. I do agree on the running game thing. Caleb is not far enough along where you should just demand and expect that he can carry this thing. They got to be able to run the football. So that's number one. And yeah, listen, it could take 8-10 games for him to really hit his stride in this offense. I know that's tough to hear. I don't like saying it, but I do think a level of patience is going to be required here, and it's going to be up to the Bears to stick to that plan if that's truly what their goal is. So as far as the happy feet goes, definitely came back up in the second half. I think that was a result of Flores showing a lot of different exotic blitz packages. I thought Caleb in the first half had pretty good pocket feel and awareness, and it just got tougher as the game went on. And that's a credit to Brian Flores, but also Ben and Caleb got to find answers. So that was definitely advantage Minnesota in those situations. All right, get those score predictions in. Gregory says Bears 24-17. We got fake news or our running backs just not that good. I think DeAndre is a decent player. He's not elite. We know that. I want to see more Kyle Monangai. That's what I want to see. 6-3 Bears. As painful as that would be to watch, I would take it because you'd be 1-1. You would be 1-1. Alrighty. One more segment here, and then we are going to get out of here. Big game tonight, by the way. Commanders, Packers, FGB in the chat. I feel kind of icky rooting for the Commanders because you still do feel like a rivalry could be emerging there between Jaden, Caleb, Commanders, and Bears after what happened last year. The Bears and Caleb got to start winning to make that a true rivalry. But, we want Washington to win tonight. So that's that. So, by the way, speaking of which, I will have a post-game reaction show on 4 Verts after Thursday Night Football tonight. So if you're interested in that, come check that out on my other YouTube channel. But, all right, last segment here, some more Caleb talk. Was last week not as bad as a lot of people were saying it was? I think that's probably fair. We react to some people on the outside and what they're saying about Caleb Williams through one game. Was Caleb Williams not that bad compared to the consensus in week 1? That's what we're going to talk about here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. A lot of people have come to Caleb's defense, and not just Billy Bob Bears on Twitter or in the chat, right? Some real people, ex-quarterbacks, NFL analysts, so on and so forth. So I'm going to kind of react to what some of these people are saying and give my own thoughts on it as well here on today's show. All right, let's start with Kurt Warner. You ever hear of that guy? Pretty good career. He's in Canton, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champ, so on and so forth. Here's what he had to say on the Rich Eisen show, who was kind of trying to draw him offside. He said, the level of difficulty in this game for J.J. McCarthy was way, way, way lower than the level of difficulty for Caleb Williams. I'm talking about how the game played out, the plays that were called, and the throws they had to make. It was just easier for J.J. You said it, talking to Rich. He didn't have to do anything until the fourth quarter and still had a chance to win. How many times do you play a game where you really don't have to do anything as a quarterback until the fourth quarter and you still have a chance to win that game? I thought for Caleb it was hard work all night long. I still have questions about Caleb. He has a long way to go in terms of settling down. He was getting through some reads to his third or fourth read at times, but I want to see things settle down. However, I thought he played a really good game. That certainly got my attention. He had a few tweets about it as well, kind of detailed his notes in his notebook, put out a YouTube breakdown as well. I encourage you guys to go check it out. Listen, I gave Caleb a C minus grade. I thought there was some good. I thought there was some bad. I thought there was some in the middle where it's like, was that a Caleb issue? Was that a someone else? It was a mixed bag, and that's a lot of what we saw last year, right? So, I broke this down on a video earlier this week. My biggest concern was just some of the basic inaccuracies. Listen, it's a new playbook. Getting through the progressions against a Brian Flores defense in your first start in the system, I can understand some growing pains there. My main concern is just the basic accuracy issues. So if that part can get cleaned up, I think the other stuff is going to come along. So it's encouraging to hear a guy like Kurt Warner to have those thoughts. Really good game. I think that's a stretch, but at the same time, I didn't think it was a disaster either, although the second half was worse than the first half. What would you grade Caleb's overall week 1 performance? Like I said, C minus, not good enough to win, right? Like, against a good team, you're going to have to play at least B football. I thought in the first half he played B football. And then in the second half, it's probably more like, D plus. And you add it all up, it was, C minus type of game. A, B, C, D, or F, pluses and minuses are encouraged. Let me know how you guys thought he played. Okay, Bruce Arians. Remember once upon a time, everyone thought Bruce Arians was going to be the Bears coach, and then they hired someone by the name of Mark Trestman. That worked out well. He was on the Pat McAfee show. Here's what he had to say about Caleb. He said, Brian Flores is one of the masterminds of defense. He started throwing blitzes at him that he hadn't seen in a while. That's hard for a young QB and a coach and a new offense trying to answer all the questions in a game that you see from Flores. In the first game, by the way, together. And I think that's something that has been lost in all of this. Like, you see all these power rankings. How did quarterbacks play in week 1? I saw one today. Caleb was the 31st best quarterback in week 1. I was like, really? He wasn't that bad. Like, you're telling me he's worse than Bryce Young? Like, Bryce Young was horrible against Jacksonville. That's not exactly Brian Flores in Minnesota. What's been lost here is that he did go up against a terrific defensive coordinator in Brian Flores with some really good freaking players and some exotic blitzes. Like, again, like, missed opportunities were there. There's no question. I'm not excusing the performance entirely, but, like, it was a tough game, and it wasn't all bad. So I thought the Vikings in general made good second-half adjustments. KOC did it on offense, finding the run game to get going with Jordan Mason, and obviously finding a couple of mismatches there. And Flores just started throwing all kinds of blitzes at Caleb and the Bears, and they didn't do a good job of handling it. So, again, not acting like Caleb played well per se, but I don't think he was bad the whole time either. Okay, Ryan Fitzpatrick, longtime NFL quarterback. Now he does some podcasting. He's involved with the, I think it's Amazon. He does Thursday night stuff. So if you're watching live on Thursday, you'll see him tonight. I'll talk about what he said here in just a little bit. But first, I want to tell you guys about today's show sponsor. That is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football is back and better than ever, and I'm firing off Prize Picks lineups every single week. It's very easy to play Prize Picks, as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. Travis Kelce max discount available this week. You just take more than half a receiving yard for him. I've paired that with Caleb Williams, more than half a touchdown pass, which is a goblin play. Easier to hit, so lower payout, $20 entry to win $40, but I really, really like this lineup. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, Ryan Fitzpatrick tweeted this out the other day, and it caught people's attention, and it was basically he was pushing back to everyone, including me, to be fair, about how easy of a throw it was when Caleb overthrew DJ late in that game, when DJ put the hand up, which is basically like, hey, I'm open, wide open, throw me the ball, and Caleb overthrew him, and the ball landed just out of bounds, but it was well over his head, yada, yada. He said only a couple quarterbacks hit that throw, and that DJ changed his route. People were like, how do you know he changed his route, yada, yada, yada. Fitzpatrick also tweeted this, said, when you have a new play caller and a new system, those are the type of things you have to figure out the hard way in real games. DJ Moore is a hell of a player, but I have to imagine things like this won't be acceptable under Ben Johnson moving forward. So he really put the blame on DJ changing the route up. Now, Caleb said this yesterday when asked about that play. He said he did a good job of putting his hand up in the air and showing me he was open. I just got to deliver him a good ball, probably a line drive next time to get the ball in his hands as fast as possible. And then today, to offer clarification even further on what actually happened on the play, Declan Doyle said that the missed throw to DJ was a route that DJ improvised. It was supposed to be kind of more of like an out route, but based on the zone coverage, DJ put the flag up, the hand up, whatever you want to call it, and kind of improvised the route, and Caleb overthrew him. So Declan said those are things that you just kind of have to work through. And listen, I still think you got to throw a better ball. like if you see him make that adjustment, because where Caleb threw it, it's not like he threw where an out route would be. He threw it in that corner area. He just airmailed the throw. Like he said, he kind of threw a tweener ball, right? Like he didn't loft the throw. He didn't throw a straight bullet. He kind of threw it with a lot of velocity, but still kind of some arc, and it landed out of bounds. It's got to be one or the other. You either just touch throw that, and he probably catches it and gets tackled short of the goal line, or to his point, which I think is the right call, throw a bullet to him, and if he catches it in stride, he's likely going to score, and instead of scoring at 2:02, you score with like 2:30, 2:35 left. Maybe you have a chance to get the ball back and tie or win that game. So, I think that's like next level QB wide receiver chemistry, right? It's you see it over the years with like Kelce and Mahomes, right? Like the famous example is the 13-second game against the Bills in the AFC Championship game. Kelce noticed something in the coverage and kind of gave Pat a signal, ran a completely different route, hit him in stride, got in field goal range, forced overtime. Now this one happened after the snap, but that does happen, especially against zone coverage. Like if a receiver recognizes something, he might just go to a spot instead of what the actual route is calling for. So, you just hope with reps, which is what Caleb said. Like, yeah, that's something that with reps you can nail down that they hit it next time. So hopefully that ends up being the case. Okay, Nate Tice, Yahoo Sports. I've had him on the program before. He used to be with The Athletic as well. Was a college quarterback, has been studying quarterback play in college and NFL for a long time. Really good stuff. You guys should go check him out. But he tweeted this out. He was asked by a Bears fan a question if Bears fans should be worried about Caleb. He said, I'd be most worried about Swift Dahlman in the run game more than anything else. He made some good decisions, just got to chill with how hard he throws it. Thought he was the better quarterback on Monday. And then he followed up and say, yeah, buy the dip on Caleb. Truly excellent sack avoidance on top of a large chunk of plays where he made the right read and decision. Couple of times he turned down an open player, but his scrambling and checkdowns made sense seeing how the back end was playing out. And we kind of pointed that out the other day. There was a couple times where it's like, yeah, he should probably could have thrown that, but he didn't. You kind of understand why he didn't, but you'd like to see him hang in there and deliver that second level throw. But I thought there was good signs of processing in that game. Didn't always make the right throw. Didn't always make the throw, period. But even that fourth down, it's like right read, eyes are set, just missed the throw. So, like, that's a good sign that the processing and the eyes are where they need to be. But that's why the part I've been most frustrated with, the accuracy, is like, just throw the ball on target. Like, that's just a throw you got to make. So, Nate Tice is still buying stock on Caleb in this whole thing. So, hopefully he's right. And then lastly, Mina Kimes on her podcast was saying this as well. And I just kind of wanted to work in the run game aspect of this. She said, did Caleb Williams miss a few throws? Yep, but he was also supported by 0 run game versus one of the best defenses in football. And we showed this kind of stat the other day. But look at this chart here. Rushing success rate. Bears were dead last in week 1, 19%. Yeah, you're going up against Minnesota and Brian Flores. It's a challenge. You can't be dead last. It's going to be tough to win that way with a young quarterback. It just is. So the Bears have to run the football better. And by the way, your best runner was your quarterback. He rushed in for a touchdown, almost ran another one in, averaged almost 10 yards per carry. Meanwhile, DeAndre Swift is getting just over 3, and DJ Moore on 3 carries didn't even get 10 yards. This offense needs to be balanced, especially early on while there's still development and a learning curve going on in terms of taking in this system for Caleb. Like, it's just going to be hard to put this all on his shoulders. Ben even said it this week, I need to call more runs. Like, I need to call more runs. Let's get Kyle Monangai some carries, he said. So I think all of that is fair. And it's also fair that, hey, Caleb, make a few more throws, man. Like, there were throws for you to be made. Even on the plays you decided not to throw certain ones, okay, fair enough. That's going to happen. There were still a handful of, like, you should just make that throw. There was one to Komet in the left hash, flat. I still think that DJ downfield one, that at least should throw a more catchable ball. Komet over the middle is one he should have made. And then of course the DJ fourth down one. That's 4 right there, and there were probably 1 or 2 more that, regardless of the offense and the progression, those are throws that simply need to be more on target. So if he can do that, it kind of narrow down the accuracy issues. I think the other stuff will come, but you can't miss as many throws as he did on Monday night. Okay, speaking of the running game, will Bears running backs reach 80-plus yards this week? Last week it was 61, and I'm counting DJ because those were 3 handoffs out of the backfield. So it was 20 carries, 61 yards, not good enough. So we getting 20 more yards out of our running backs this week? I'm going to say yes. I think they will make a more concerted effort to run the football, and I think they will find more success doing it with Swift, with Monangai, sprinkling a little DJ Moore in there, and I think they will be more effective in their traditional running game with their running backs. All right, my name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we continue to pump out content every single day for you guys here on this show. Game day is closing in. Bears, Lions, big game between a pair of 0-1 teams. All right. Well, we are going to get out of here shortly. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I don't think we have any more super chats. Jack, appreciate you producing. This was fun.
It's a pleasure as always. I love coming back to my roots on Bears now. My parting advice to Bears fans: please, I beg you, and I'll see y'all in a year, inevitably. Please do not overreact to one game. Give Caleb a chance.
Ben's
All
first
right?
game too, guys.
Yeah, it was the entire regime's first game. So and from what I've seen and from what I've heard and from what I watched last week, there were a lot of issues that went beyond the quarterback play of Caleb Williams. So my advice, my ask, please do not give up on your team and your quarterback one game into the season. I get you're playing the Lions this week at Ford Field. You very well might start the season 0-2. But there's 15 games left in the season after that. So those are my parting words. Do not give up on your quarterback that easy.
Patience, people, patience. Good words from Jack. All right, we got to get out of here. Jack's got some stuff to do. I do as well. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be live Sunday, 10:45 at the latest, maybe 10:30. Myself, Cullen will be back in the building, so stay tuned for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button and bear down.